Hello and welcome. Let's go ahead and begin with an opening meditation just to set the space. So we'll go ahead and close our eyes and settle into our bodies. And take some deep breaths, bringing your awareness down to your seat, your sit bones, your tailbone, your hips, your legs, and your feet. I'm just saying hello to this area of our bodies. Feeling your grounding cord strong and connected from your hips going down through the layers of the earth. If you're reclined, your grounding cord goes from the heels, the soles of your feet, to the crown of your head and grounds down into the earth. Essentially, your back body or your seat is making contact with the earth and the soles of your feet. And as we extend our grounding cords down into the earth, we'll allow them to sprout roots, anchoring us here in this moment. And from there, there's a rise from your tailbone and pelvic floor. There's a rise of your central channel. This beautiful pathway of center. It's your midline. And the pathway of divine grace and light through your body, and into all of your power centers and your internal organs and your physical body systems and your energy system. And we'll lean back into that beautiful flow of divine grace. And by leaning back, I mean if energy has been forward, if you've been forward in the world today, we'll just lean back so that you're evening out awareness between your front body and your back body, and allowing for this beautiful waterfall of light to source your back body, to source your central channel, and to flow through the front of you. Showering off anything that is no longer needed up until this point. Any energy you don't need to hold, that doesn't need to linger. Allowing your light to illuminate in your body, your soul to illuminate in your body with this inflow of grace, expanding you down your arms and legs, filling you up, radiating beyond your skin into your aura, brightening the light all the way around you. I pray for our angels and our guides to continue to surround this space and to hold a sacred container around this healing time today, in present time, and in the future, if you're listening back. I pray for held love, holding and nurturing in this time today. I pray for grounding and connection to yourself as a empowered empath. I pray that my connection is open to God. I receive the light through my crown to my third eye, throat, and heart. It continues into the earth. It's protected with love, and I pray that we have a powerful time today connecting. Thank you, God. So be it, and so it is. So very slowly, you can start to open your eyes and come back here into connection. Welcome. So I wanted to just drop an anchor a little bit into something that we talked about very early on in this program, which speaks to why you're here in the program, which is about obviously being an empath. And one of the things that we talked about very early on was the gift of being an empath. And part of that gift in being an empath is about understanding that the empath is not overly empathic. That's a different experience. Overly empathic is pointing to the wounds that we're holding in the body that we're healing and clearing through this process in order for the self to be more grounded. And the gift for an empath is that we know how to be in our bodies, that we know how to hold our emotional center, that we know how to find ground inside ourselves, that we understand our interior, specifically the first three power centers of the body, and in that we're able to feel what's going on around us without absorption. That's the gift of an empath, of an empowered empath, as opposed to overly empathic. Now, we're going into, as we go through these deep karmic wounds that are held in the body, which could have happened in this lifetime, they also could have preceded this lifetime, which makes them karmic. And we're addressing some deep layers of healing in our bodies so that we can increase more consciousness, awareness, and grounding in the body so that you can live more empowered in yourself. And there is this unbelievably brilliant thing that happens in the healing path. And it happens in my courses for sure. It happens across the board in healing, no matter what healing path you step on or who you're working with. And this is what happens, is that somehow it's either your higher self, it's spirit, it's the nature of healing work, right before you're about to learn something or receive a healing, the issue surfaces. And it's amazing. It happens over and over again. So we could go through a process last week, for example, where we start to dive into fear, and then the next piece of abandonment can show up somewhere between last week and this week. Or, this is just an example. This can happen in any week, which is pointing to a couple of things. I mean, one is your own that your soul is guiding you in this process. There's an intuitive aspect of you that is aware that there's another piece that I'm bringing forward to the surface. And so the questions may arise, the concern may arise, but also add in this piece that is like, you might be a little bit ahead. Your system might already be getting ready for the next piece that is coming in this program as we're moving through these deep karmic wounds, because they are layered and they do work together, and it's natural that your next piece may surface. So we're going to go into this piece about abandonment here. And specifically, abandonment is another karmic wound often held in specifically the first three areas of the body, but even more specifically to the root chakra. So we do a lot of root chakra healing with empathic work, because being empowered in your body as an empath has to do with how well we are connected to our sense of self and our earth element and our ground. So this is another piece to that. So on an energetic level, so abandonment, it could be physical abandonment, meaning as a youth, a child, a parent left. There was a sense of mom or dad wasn't there, someone physically left and leaving you with a sense of abandonment. It also can be emotional abandonment. So not able to meet you where you are emotionally, withdrawing if you had an emotion, leaving you in your pain and suffering without connection. It can also come through, past lives, again, which makes it karmic. If it feels like, wow, I didn't have abandonment in this life from mother or father, but I feel abandonment, it's deeper. It certainly could come through in your lineage. And it also can show up as abandonment of self in the body. So I'm going to explain how this works in the energetic system. So in the root chakra area of the body, which is our connection to safety and trust and belonging, the root element of the body and the second chakra area of the body, the pelvic bowl and our earth connection, is very nurtured by the presence of mothering. Now, I'm using the word mothering as opposed to mother or birth mother. It has to do with the energetic quality of mothering. A father can be mothering. You know, a father can have mothering qualities. The qualities of mothering are nurturing, holding, just really being able to hold you in your experience, hold you affectionately. The father can do that as well. But the mothering is this holding element of being able to allow you to be where you are and hold an element of nurturing you emotionally, physically, all of which relate to a resolve of the nervous system, a decompression of the nervous system. And this holding, this nurturing to the lower power center, specifically the root chakra, allows that sense of unfurling so that there can be safety and trust. Now, on the energetic level, the mother is associated with the earth element in the body. The father is associated with the crown chakra. Now, I want to, again, separate this out from God is a father and God is a man and with a staff and, you know, carries judgment about what we do here on this earth. And you know, remove, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the divine consciousness of father or masculine that comes in through the crown of the body, that gives a clear line through the central channel of the body. In my, you know, in yogic lineage, they call it the Shiva energy, and the feminine rises from the earth, giving a sense of nurturing to the base, which is also about supporting you and being in the world. That's the Shakti, that's the feminine aspect of our being. So I'm using some different terminology here, but essentially the mother element is about us grounding into ourself, and the father element in the body, on an energetic level, the father ring is about protection. It's also about providing, and it's about opening up to more faith in the universe, faith in the unseen. So trust is connection to the seen, felt world, including people, including ourselves. Faith is about connection to the unseen world, having faith in the divine or in the light or in source, providing for us on the deeper level. The earth element in the body, that we have a strong earth element, a strong mothering sense coming through the lower half of the body, develops our grounding cord, gives us a strong sense of energetic alignment and container going down through the lower body. The father element does support this vertical alignment that I'm talking about, but the father element also provides, the father element of safety and protection actually nurtures and provides strength in our auric field. So with healthy fathering, we develop a strong aura around our energy field. With healthy mothering, we develop a sense of ground and nurturing in our body, and the ability for the nervous system to relax. So when we feel grounded, when we feel protected, the nervous system can settle and we can settle into self. So this is what happens on the energetic level. Now, if the mother element, the mothering element is not there, or there is some withdrawal of the mothering element, that could look like the mother is there, provides on many levels, but the child or the self, the inner essence, or the nervous system still needs mothering. is still missing mothering. There's a sense of abandonment going on in the body because there isn't mothering. We're talking about the energetic quality. If the father element isn't there, then I'm missing the sense of protection. My aura isn't fully strengthened or developed, and still until I start to bring in the fathering quality of protection, or the nature of I am, I'm calling it the fathering quality, but it's the nature of protection around my energy field. If the father isn't there, fathering isn't there, then I'm feeling an abandonment of that protective quality. That is part of my development as an empathic being. So abandonment mirrors itself in these ways on an energetic level when we're missing mothering and fathering, even if mother and father are present as human beings. There's just a quality of energy that the system needs in order to feel and have appropriate boundaries and sense of self in the body. But here's what happens. Here's the third part. So mother, I've just explained the absence of mothering and the absence of fathering and the effect in the energy system. But here's the third part, is that it's the internalization of lack of one or the other or both. And the internalization is abandonment of self. And it's that if I am missing mothering, and this goes back to work we talked about early on in the first module, my root chakra is going to contract. If I'm missing protection, my root chakra, that's the fathering, my root chakra is going to contract. If my root chakra contracts, my spirit abandons my root chakra. I am abandoning a sense of self. It's too hard for me to ground into this area of my body in my root chakra. I've now left that area, or I've vacated it. And in my system, I'm having experiences of abandoning or being abandoned or re-abandoning over and over again because I'm missing mothering and fathering on some level in my energy system. So we can, on the healing perspective, which we will go into. Oh, let me say one more thing. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack one more thing. When we go out into abandoning ourselves, the energy lifts up high in the body. The result of the energy system lifting up high is that excess energy starts to move up towards the head, creating excessive psychic activity, excessive mind racing, excessive processing in dreams, et cetera, et cetera. So those are some of the things we've actually talked about in Module 1. So that abandoning of self has us go into fight or flight, has us lift up in our energy system and accelerates the upper chakras. Again, making it very difficult for an empath to be able to know, what's what am I feeling, what's happening, I'm having all of this activity going on. So the work here, this is the thing, the empath, or an individual who has lived missing, you have the story of, I'm missing mother in my life. Mom wasn't available emotionally. She was distracted. She couldn't mother or parent the way I needed it. I have a lot of difficulty with mother, my human birth mother. That may sit as an imprint in the body as something to process, which we will go into. Similarly, if something has happened with father, in that case, father wasn't there. Father or mother really was verbally abusive, was not present emotionally, abandoned me when I had emotions, any of those, and this could be on both sides. Father energy wasn't, physical father wasn't there on that nurturing or protective level. And if that's the story in your system, then know this: it is not it's not that you have to live with that wound of what mom and dad did or didn't do. It becomes our work here as spiritually progressing souls to start to create for ourselves what mothering and fathering feels like in our energy system. And we do get to define that for ourselves. You do get to create what that is and how to associate for yourself mothering. You know, what is mothering? And it's important that you do start to, in place of the absence of where mother or father would have fallen short, that you create an archetype, that you start to redefine for yourself what mothering feels like in your body, or what a divine mother could look like, what a divine father could look like. And that's for your soul. That's for your energy system. That's for you to know that I have a divine mother and a divine father to fill in the gaps of where gaps happened. You know, where I can't come down into my root, where I'm having trouble grounding, where I'm constantly abandoning myself on some level when it comes to my own feelings, or when it comes to being present with others, or just me saying in relationship, I can't do this anymore, this is too hard. You know, that we do abandoning things often, and we may not even realize they are, but they creep in. So just being able to create for ourselves, this is the element of bringing in the divine for nurturing, is that we can't go back and change the story of what happened with mothering and fathering in your life. But on an energy healing perspective, we can start to create a new relationship with mother and father, or mothering and fathering, so that your energy system can start to have some balance between the masculine and feminine in your system. Otherwise, every time we go through a grounding practice and there's an association to mother not being good, my mom wasn't, a good, would I have a healthy person, wasn't intact, was whatever the story is, it's going to be difficult to ground. If we come into sourcing yourself and connecting to the divine and allowing grace to come through, but there isn't a sense of protective aura because there's a story around father, then being able to open up to that divine flow and allowing you to get source so you can find and feel self, that's not going to feel safe. It's not going to feel good to do. So there's a shift here in being able to reconnect and reassociate in your system what healthy mothering and what healthy fathering is, so that there's a repair going on here in your lower body with mothering and in your auric field with fathering. So that's the work we're going to do here. And I'm going to actually go into the guided meditation here a little bit early. I'd like to just dive right into doing the healing work. There's a bit here to process. So I'm gonna turn off my camera, and you are welcome to just simply breathe and relax and feel into your lower body, into your lower chakras. And if you do feel really grounded, and this is great, and you do feel like there's a healthy aspect of mothering here, or there's a healthy aspect of fathering here, then I invite you just to be with this process and flow, move through the healing and flow with it, because there still may be a piece of release that serves you around strengthening your sense of self. This is all to increase your power as an empath. And so feel your grounding cord here, nice and snug around your hip bones, your low belly, and your sacrum area. Sometimes I like to imagine that as a snug pair of pants, but if that analogy doesn't work for you, just feel what does. You're going to let your grounding cord extend down deep into the earth. Sprouting roots around the core. I'm going to start by breathing into this element of mothering and where it might feel that there would have been perhaps a lack of it. Perhaps mother was there, but mother was distracted. Or mothering wasn't the energy that was coming to you, something else was. It didn't feel exactly mothering. Maybe there was control, maybe there was fear, maybe there was something else. And in the absence of that mothering, notice in your body if it feels like an aspect of your young self contracted, got scared, or if the root chakra contracted, or if walls went up. And walls in the lower body or walls anywhere in the system are protective. But they're also a form of internalizing abandonment. There's for survival. You needed to survive. And we're going to start to unravel the energy of the story here, the story of abandonment here in your root chakra area of your body around mothering. In that in some way, your energy system, your little self, your inner child needed an element of being seen, being gazed at, being really gotten, being nurtured. And just breathing through any feelings of loss or anger or hurt. Just making space for those very, very natural and appropriate feelings. Held there in your root chakra. And if you're feeling it higher in your body, that's great too. Just be with wherever you're feeling it. Deep breaths as you're unwinding here. The emotions that you're left with in the absence of mothering. Perhaps with those emotions comes belief systems like I'm not good enough. Keep breathing in, keep exhaling down. Good. And then we're going to start to bring in here a release and clearing around the absence of fathering. It could be protection and providing. And also keep in mind that we're addressing the energetic qualities. So it could be that a father was there or wasn't there. It can also be that the mother was fathering and the father was mothering. They could fill in those gaps in just who they are, in their nature. But if it feels that there's an absence of father or fathering, there wasn't enough providing, there was feelings of scarcity, feelings of lack, feelings of not enough. Take some deep breaths, and you're going to let that your body, your root chakra, and anywhere else in your body is unwinding from any hurt, loss, or pain as a result of needing fathering and missing fathering. Good. Continue to breathe here. And then just scan your body. We've been focusing here on the root chakra, but scan your body for anywhere else there might be another association to this root chakra piece. So we might have an imprint lower in the root chakra, but a response in the upper body, a reaction to that imprint. If the imprint is the abandonment, is there a reaction to that abandonment higher in the body through awareness or sensation? Just going to allow your breath, your awareness to scan your body to where you might feel any emotion or hurt or sensation or loss anywhere else in your body as a result of missing mothering and fathering, mothering or fathering. Deep breaths in, exhale, release. Good. Good. And so now we're going to start to create a divine image of mother and father for you. You are going to create it for yourself. And we'll start with mother because the earth mother or the mothering frequency relates to your grounding and to belonging in your body. And so we're going to bring in this element of mother, of mothering. So I'd like you to imagine for yourself, you get to create an image, or perhaps the guide or the archetype comes to you about what a mother who has mothering energy looks and feels like to you. You basically get to create what you need in this moment. So take a moment and visualize, see, feel, connect with, or sense the qualities of a divine mother. Good. And we're going to let that mother stand to one side of you. And don't worry about which side is right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. Just that mother stands to one side of you. And her presence is so grounding and unconditionally loving and accepting. And just notice what it does to your body to have that presence right next to you. She puts her hands, one hand on the front of your belly, one hand on the back of your belly, just on your spine area, and just holds you. And notice what that does to your energy body. Notice if that starts to bring you down into connection with your root chakra, and if it assists in helping you unfurl your root chakra or feel your energy come down your legs more. Notice your grounding cord. Notice what happens to your system when you are energetically receiving the mothering that you've always needed. I'll just add it in there if this divine mother does mirror your current mother, then you're just receiving from whatever mother archetype feels right to you. Just receiving this mothering. Making more connection into your root, your feet, your legs, your grounding. Good, and then we're going to call the Father archetype, the Father, Divine Father, the image of, it's an image you get to create for yourself. The fathering that your energy system needs, that your little child needs. In order to feel safe and protected and provided for. And this father archetype is helping rebuild your aura. Helping provide protection and safety around your energy field. And he's walking around your aura. He's yielding to the mother on the other side, but he's working in tandem here with the mother, the divine mother that's with you. He's sealing up any cracks, any tears, any imbalances to the auric field, meaning if it's too far out to the right or to the left. He's helping you center, sealing up any rips or tears or marks in the aura. All the way around your energy field, he's cleaning your aura, protecting you by just being clear and directive about what needs to stay and what needs to go. You don't need some things anymore in the auric field. Good. And when he's complete, he stands on the other side, opposite where the mother is standing. And he places his hands right on top of the mother's hands that are holding your belly. So the mother and father are in balance and cooperation energetically with each other. They work together lovingly, compassionately. And that unification, that working together, is a vibration right where they're holding that's coming into your belly. And by belly, we're working here with first, second, and third chakras. So where they're holding sends a vibration into your lower power centers. That the mother and father, the mothering and fathering frequencies in your body are at peace with each other. And deep breaths there. And as you allow your belly to be held. As you allow yourself here in this moment, you receive the holding. Allow yourself to be held, letting them both hold you. So you can start to build some presence, more presence. You have been building presence. You're building more of peace and power in your lower chakras. We're going to let where the abandonment of self, where the self has lifted up, high up in the body perhaps, or maybe just a little. You're going to let that abandonment of self reverse now by letting your nervous system unwind. Let the affection of the mothering and fathering frequencies love and adorn you in a way that brings your spirit right back down into connection with your tailbone. Deep breaths here. And this imagery of the mother here, the divine mother and the divine father, they are here for you to call upon as you need them, as you needed or may need at any given time to be held by the father or held by the mother. And there may be feelings that stir about not getting that as a child or as a youth. But to invoke the divine mother and father, the qualities that you're needing from them, is an aspect of you, your own self-healer here, to give you what you need when you need it. That the energy system may need mothering sometimes. The energy system might need fathering sometimes, protection, a sense of providing, the nurturing, the holding of the mother when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling down. This mother frequency can hold you, and the father can hold you in a way that supports you in connecting, loving, connecting to yourself, loving yourself, grounding into yourself instead of abandoning yourself. So take some deep breaths as you are sitting powerfully in your body. The mother and father frequency can be with you here, either in the embrace or just by your sides. You can thank them for being here for you. And you can let them know that you are willing to have a positive association to mothering and fathering and not project an older negative experience onto them. That this is your opportunity to see them as a clear divine force, two forces that can really give your soul what you need. We'll say a deep bow to the mother and father frequencies, and for thank you for emanating this energetic medicine that your body needs to be rooted and grounded and powerful in your empathic nature and in your lower body. So you can allow them to be where it feels good to you. If they're there with you, that's great. If you want to send them out of the space, knowing you can call upon them as needed, you can certainly do that. Ultimately, we're going to see your grounding cord, or sense your grounding cord strong, present in your lower body, and a beautiful auric field around the outside, supporting you with your boundaries, a repaired aura, so you can have more support on the energetic level as you are engaging in the world. I pray that our energies are grounded into our own bodies. I give thanks here for this opportunity to be of service in the highest way that I may be. I pray that we all here continue to walk in the love and the light of who we are, and that we may be guided by our own true hearts every step of the way. And thank you. So very slowly, it might take a moment to come out of the deep healing. I'm going to turn on my camera and talk about the deepening practice here, and just take your time. The deepening practice is written out for you, so you don't have to move quickly to the linear brain. Maybe just even with your eyes closed, you can hear what I'm going to say. So this week, I'm going to have you continue to connect with this image of the Divine Mother and Divine Father as frequencies of mothering and fathering, energy to your energy system, to your inner child, to the part of you that might need it on a very deep level for you to feel more received in yourself, more grounded in yourself, more connected in yourself. So the practice is to keep connecting to the image of the mother and father, and notice how it shifts how you are in your body when you do that. Also, I wrote a few things in the deepening practice about how abandonment can present sometimes, that we don't necessarily see it as abandonment, but things like non-committal, feeling lost, deep sadness or grief held in the lower body as opposed to the heart, but not necessarily in place of the heart, meaning we can feel it in both places. Also unable to attach or connect or feel received. Abandoning in order to protect from being abandoned. That's another way abandonment shows up. Fear of succeeding or being intimate. These are some suggestions of ways that abandonment can show up as the deeper root is abandonment, but how we can act out from an abandonment wound in the body. So the work here is to really start to bring in that mothering, fathering frequency into your system, into your life, into your, in just a meditation, and allow for the places, the cells of your body, the pockets of your energy to start to absorb that parenting that your system really needs on an energetic soul level for you to ground more deeply, to feel your center, and also to support a healthy auric field, which is your energetic boundaries in the world. I also wrote, as you ground, feel your aura, just really feel and connect to that as vibrant and whole, and see that as a very strong component to your well-being, but it's coming from that sense of protection and fathering energy in your life and in your system. So that's the deepening practice. And from here, let's go into the Q&A. I'm happy to take some questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Wendy. And I do see we have someone on the telephone, someone in the 520 area code. I'm going to go ahead, give you the mic. Could you tell us your first name, please?
Sure. This is Lorraine in Tucson.
Hi, Lorraine.
Hi. Oh my God. Wow, that was powerful. Okay, I'll try to consolidate it brief. Yeah, last night I was on the phone and texting family photos with my cousin. A lot of emotional abandonment for me, and she and her brothers and sisters lost their parents in an auto accident. All right, well, getting down to it is I realized at a certain point that 3 of the 4 of my grandparents were orphans, and one of them disowned on mom's deathbed as a little girl. But there was such an extreme desire to love their children. So I guess what I'm asking is, there seems to be such deep lineage wounding, with this. And oh my God, this was powerful. This is like the answer to, I guess, hundreds of lifetimes. It feels like you're healing today, but feeling that whatever it means, whether, incarnation or not, do you feel this is good to work, to not project this into our families, our moms and our dads, or it's just totally a personal thing? Is this about family healing too?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought this up, because when I'm talking about karmic wounds, it's not only about coming through past lifetimes, it's ancestral as well. And so a couple things about that is that you could, I see how deep it runs in the family lineage as you're talking about it. You could do the exercise, just as you are feeling it. You can also feel that divine mother and father for yourself and for any lineage energy you're carrying. But you could also, if you wanted to do an additional meditation, you could do one for a loved one.
Right.
You could ask the divine mother and father to be with, so and so lost their mother and father. Or you could, if you wanted to, absolutely.
Passed over also. Souls passed over too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, my cousin I was talking to. Okay, go ahead.
No, did that speak to what you were asking?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, you remind me a lot of my cousin I spent on the phone and texting with last night. It was oh my God, you're so But okay, I'll let go now. Thank you. That was a primo one. Yeah, gracias.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad you asked that, because that was, I'm sure others will have that same question. So thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I love the synchronicity of how the universe directs all this and brings about the healing. So that's so awesome. So Trisha is here with a hand up. And Trisha, I'm going to go ahead and prompt you to start your video, if you would, and I'll open your mic as well. Okay, go ahead, please.
Hello.
Hi, Trisha.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm having a really big problem. I can't seem to keep awake during the meditations. I tried it in the car, because Brittany said to do it in the public,
Yeah.
and I'm just having a hard time staying awake.
So a couple things to that is, I think somebody else asked that in the questions also that came in recently. So a couple things about that. There sometimes the gift of and of someone who is very intuitive is that the upper body is actually very activated, meaning there might be a strong clairvoyant sense, there might be a strong clairaudient sense, in addition to feeling. And so in order for there's a way that in order to really ground, sometimes this upper chakra consciousness in the body does actually need to go to sleep in order for the deep grounding to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, I don't see it necessarily as negative. Now, some people will say, oh, you're checking out, or you're disassociating, or you're not staying present. And I in my experience, I don't always believe that's true. I think what's happening for a lot of people who have really, like, are really moving through it and staying present with the lecture and the content of the material, but then goes into this deep guided healing, or excuse me, deep sleep state, is that sometimes you do need to go into the theta state to get it at a deeper level. And it's actually grounding you. It's bringing you into your body. And notice sometimes for people who do have this experience, awarenesses will come the next day or 2 days later. It'll start, your consciousness will start to turn and stir up, you know, wow, oh, okay, I think some dots connected for me. I didn't actually check out in that meditation. I did go into a deep healing. It's just that the processing might come the next couple of days. And it's not bad or wrong. This is just the way your system does it. And you're not alone. There are lots of people who have the same experience. So as long as you know that's what's happening, do you feel like you could sort of work with it from that perspective?
Yeah, I guess I I guess I could. I also I had a panic attack, a trigger, and it brought me back to being open. Like
In this healing you
uh,
did?
no, over the weekend. It brought me back to being open, and I got better day by day. Um, so I was wondering, like when I'm so open, because I couldn't even imagine the egg, like like the protective egg,
Oh, okay. The aura?
the aura. Yeah, I couldn't even do that. So I was just wondering, like when I'm in such a frozen state, what do I do?
So when you're in a frozen state, not in the healing, but in
In
your own
general,
experience.
yeah.
Um, so um, so do you have someone you're working with on a personal level?
Do you mean like a therapist?
A therapist or a healer, or someone you're working with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I would really turn to your therapist about that question on what to do in frozen moments, because my sense, it's not that I can't answer the question, it's that my sense is that there might be more of a layered story around what your system needs around
Oh,
that. Does that make sense to you?
okay. Okay. So it's a little
But
complicated.
well, I mean, there's lots of things you can do in a frozen moment, but my sense is that you what might be going on for you might be something that like the therapist can direct more specifically in what your system needs. Does
Oh,
that make
okay.
sense to you?
Okay. Okay,
That's,
great.
but
Thank you.
I want to say this though, is that someone wrote about this in the Facebook group just this past week, which was I saw a comment where someone said, you know, when you get it, you don't always have to follow the healings so literally if they're not happen, if it's not if the visualizations aren't coming the way Wendy's prompting them, if the experience isn't happening the way Wendy's prompting them, know that your system is getting healing on a deeper level. And it is cumulative, but I think she used the phrase like, can you just let the healings wash you? Like what, let my voice, or let the guided energy, like the healing, can you let it wash through you? As opposed to feeling like, I got to get this, I'm not doing it right, I'm not following exactly how Wendy's prompting it. Can you just let yourself be in the healing experience and let the energy of the meditations wash through your system?
Yeah, I could definitely
Can
do
you work
that.
with that? Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and mute that. I do have a couple of written in questions, one from Eileen. Excuse me, will the Divine Mother and Divine Father energies always be experienced separately or possibly in some mixed together way?
Definitely it can be mixed together. It can be, especially when it comes to, mother was fathering and father was mothering, or there was an absence of one or the other. It can definitely be merging. And I think that the anchor for you, or the way to work with it, is just coming into yourself and saying, what are the qualities of mothering that my system needs? In which case I'm going to invoke that image of the Divine Mother and let her give me those as an essence, like she's loving me in the ways that I need it. What are the essence qualities I need from fathering? I'm going to envision him, like whoever the Divine Father is, and allow myself to receive that fathering energy. So it's just asking yourself, what do I need in mothering and fathering energy?
Okay, and Jennifer, I see your hand up. Let me just dovetail on that. Maureen is asking, if an absent father and a mother has a lot of masculine energy, is it possible to be lacking mothering, nurturing energy more than the fathering?
Yes, definitely. And then again, you're gonna feel into your own system, but if it feels like mother is embodying a lot of masculine energy, but I'm not getting the mothering energy, then the key is to look for that, what you're needing. So it is possible, if a parent is embodying, where I'm getting a little tripped up on my response here is because I want to say this piece, which is that a mother can still embody masculine energy and still be mothering. So I think the question is, did you get mothering in place of, even if the mother was embodying masculine energy? I mean, she might just find a way to still be mothering. And the only way you'll know that is checking in with yourself and saying, did I get mothering here? Did I get fathering here? And it can be also that you did get a lot of mothering from mother, and she held the masculine too. She held both, but I'm still feeling an absence of father, just as an example. I mean, any of that combination could certainly play out. And the key is coming into yourself and saying, am I missing mothering and fathering on some level? And you may not know that until you bring in the image of the Divine Mother and Father too. It's like, oh, that's what that feels like. I didn't even know I needed that. That's a possibility.
Okay, thank you. And Jennifer, I'm going to go ahead and give you the mic. Go ahead, please.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yes. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello. Well, I have two questions, and they're sort of tied into the past two classes.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. I'll start with the one that's most up for me right now.
Yeah.
There's definitely there's a little place in that root chakra that's feeling so terrified and insecure and abandoned. you know, I think certainly by my own self over lifetimes, but also by both parents. And that part is definitely a part that's wanted to find security in ideologies or like rigid kinds of rules or religions, or and when those rigid thought forms got challenged, this part would feel really insecure. And I'm sensing that the wound is abandonment, and that it was looking for parenting from a religious structure or a external structure and bonding with that structure. And then when somehow the structure was challenged, this part would feel insecure. That's the first thing. I just wondered if you could address that patterning and how to really bring myself present and love that place.
Well, my first thought is you just nailed that. You just explained that so well. And that's exactly how, I mean, I don't know in your situation, I'm just responding to what you're telling me, but that is absolutely, that happens exactly how you just explained it. And so good for you for naming it and acknowledging it, because that's going to be the first part of basically getting outside of it. It's like once you acknowledge it and you see it, you can create, you're not inside it, you're creating some objective space from it, and you can observe that this is what happened. Now, and you brought up the word bonding, now comes the new bonding. Like this was the old bonding, now I need new bonding. And it seems to me the how-to is probably simpler than expected, which is exactly this work. It's going to be, how can you bond now to what healthy mother, healthy father, or divine mother, divine father could feel like to your little young self in your body. And really it's a bonding, it's spending some time with those quote unquote parents.
And I think for me also, it's really being present to and breathing with the terror.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Because that's really deep cellular terror yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And terror is significant. It's like terror is in the energetic system, there's fear, and then there's terror, and then there's death. The fear of death, there's usually terror in between there. So that's a very deep core place. And I think that that's important to acknowledge that, I just have to really breathe into the awareness that there was terror that felt like life-threatening to me, or felt like, entrapment on some level. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I'm sorry. I noticed that I was muted, so I was trying to attend to that, and I lost a little bit of it. But I'll listen to the replay. But it's really about being willing to be fully there. I think for all of that place, all of those parts, and breathe and really allow them to merge and release.
Absolutely. Good for you. That's big work. That's like very core work. Good for you.
Really, it's intense.
Yeah.
The other question, Wendy, that I had was about, what do the back of the chakras look like? All right, so in a lot of the meditation systems that I've experienced, there's always this flowering open in the front of the chakras, right?
Yeah.
So what's going on in the back? If you looked at your chakra from the back, what would you see?
Okay. So chakras are perceived, which means there isn't necessarily a full right or wrong, but this is typically, they're depicted as flowers that bloom. See if I can do that this way. So this is the front, this is the back. They're blossoming in both directions. Does that make sense? The central channel runs through them. So that's how they're depicted in the front and the back. the chakras are also depicted as a convergence of meridians, just a complete glow ball of light in so it's glowing in the front, and there's, you know, the same amount of glow in the back if we were looking at balanced in the front and the back. Some people see them as discs, in which case I don't see them that way, so I would have to perhaps make something up about what the backside would look like, or feel into that, or perceive something about that. But I'd have to ask somebody who sees them as discs, because that's not how I see them. But a lot of people do. So I couldn't really speak to that one.
The reason I was asking it was when we're leaning back into the back channels, I was trying to get a visualization of what the chakras were doing on the back while I was, you know, leaning into the support. And that's why I was kind of trying to get a sense of the picture of that.
Yeah, so the pillar is in the front and the back. So it's not just the back. I just often emphasize the back because it's a place we disconnect from, and it's a place we source ourselves. So it's actually, yes, the vibrancy is in the front and in the back. Just the chakra would open up similarly like a flower towards the light in the back, but it's flowing through the front and the back.
Mm. And I'm going to jump in here. I have a number of hands, so if we're feeling complete, I'd like to move on. Okay. So Judy, I see you with a hand up. Go ahead, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, Judy. Yes, I hear you.
Okay. I don't know what my question is yet, but I'm afraid to use my voice, to use my words. My body believes my words aren't safe, because as a child, I was punished if I used them or if I didn't, if I could make a quick decision or not. And so I'm very sick physically, like life-threatening things that I know a huge part are from the trauma. And I'm so grateful for this course. So I'm afraid to even have raised my hand and talk with you. But I know I'm on the precipice of being able to use it, but sometimes I say too much, sometimes not enough. And also, I want to say things, but I'm so afraid I'm going to hurt someone or be hurt. And so I'm stuck in that, you know, where there's so much I want to say, and I can express things in writing better, but even then, so vocally it's hard, but even then I'm so afraid, like to post something on Facebook, I might hurt someone, you know, even though that's not the intention and I'm not saying anything hurtful. So I'm kind of stuck in that.
Yeah. So I'm glad you spoke. I'm glad
Thank
you used
you.
your voice and reached out and raised your hand.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah.
Hey.
So, so a couple things I want to say is I do think there's lots of pieces to this. I think, again, I would definitely recommend working with the mother and father as healthy, you know, as sort of healthy parenting for your inner child and your little girl, around, you know, her feeling safe. And you know, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Working with that work. With regard to the throat chakra, my sense is you have a very strong throat chakra, which means that expression is actually natural for you and very important for you to do. There's a power in this. When we center in the center of the throat chakra, that means all our chakras have a backside. So that means we're listening, we're deeply listening to our higher guidance, which is leaning back into that channel of grace and really just allowing the back of the throat to be open to listening. And we're speaking from the front of the throat chakra. The power in the center is discernment. And we discern when to speak and when to listen. And so what might be good for you is to do some natural listening, deeply listening to yourself, your higher self, to your divine, you know, flow, to guidance, and start writing it down, getting it out of you. That's important for someone who has a strong throat chakra, is that you aren't holding it back. You are getting it out. So you don't necessarily need to speak it to people. You just need to get it out for yourself. At that point, you know, there might be some figuring out of how am I going to speak this in the world? Do I need to put it on Facebook? Do I need to say something on Facebook? You know, like, do I need, whatever it might be. It's just being a little bit more, giving yourself therapeutic time to listen and speak from higher truth. And then let this other part figure itself out in terms of how am I expressing myself in the world? That will come once you get clearer. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. I love that. And I've been doing
Yeah.
I'll be in the middle of something and then I'll go, okay, I'll let my inner children and the neural pathways come out and go, okay, and I'll write what the feelings are coming up. And then I go to a positive mode with it, but I validate the feelings that are coming up for me. So I love that. I love that. That really helps a lot. This whole course is wonderful. So it's very healing.
Good.
So thank you. And I
You're
love the
so welcome.
discernment part. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Judy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and Pat, I see your hand up, so go ahead, please.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Pat.
Hello.
Pat, we might need you to come a little forward. It's quite quiet.
Oh, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. This is incredibly powerful and exactly what I need right now. I'm in a very, very deep healing process. I am having some signs of somatic illness, and I'm pretty sure I have exhausted adrenals, and really, really struggling to heal myself. My question today it has to do with the mother and the father. I like that idea of those models, and it helped me soften to give myself into their embrace. And as I've worked with my therapist, they're constantly reminding me that I have to learn to do this for myself. I have to learn to love myself. And that I actually, through all of this just deep pain that I'm experiencing, that's the bottom line that I figured out this week, that the pathway to my healing is that I have to love myself. I get to love myself. And I have found a pathway, and it's right at my breast here, where there's constant ache. And I can inject my love of myself, which has been very difficult for me, but I am now, I'm beginning to be able to inject that little bit of love into myself, and then the tears flow. I know I'm on to something. So I just want to be sure that this model that you've given us today is really just that. It's a model for how we have to be for ourselves. Is that correct?
Yes. And here's the thing, and I'm glad you're bringing this up. I actually wanted to mention it at some point, so I'm glad you brought this up. Anything we perceive and create for ourselves on the energetic level is because it already exists inside us. So the imprint, or let me say it this way, the archetype of a mother, a mothering aspect, or a father, is because it's an inner projection of the mothering and fathering that already exists inside our being.
Yes.
So that's the pieces. These don't have to be. I mean, this is up to you. This is you getting what you need. If you are needing love to yourself, then these aspects of mothering and fathering are just giving it right back into you. Like, you need, where you have perhaps mothered others or taken care of others or protected others, you're just turning it right back on yourself and giving it to yourself. Does that make sense to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just wanted
Okay.
that confirmation from you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you said that. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, others will definitely have that same thought and question. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Wendy, I see we're coming close to time. So I'm wondering if you want to share the breakout group questions and any other information you might want to share.
Yes. So the breakout question is, in what ways has abandonment shown up for you, or has it in your life? And what was it like to bring in the image of a chosen divine mother or father in the healing? Or, you know, again, an aspect of mothering or fathering. What was that like for you to do in the meditation around how abandonment has shown up for you? That's the breakout question. And then just in closing, I just wanted to say that that I've been really enjoying reading how much engagement has been happening in the Facebook group and how much support has been there. And this is such a, you know, it's a power in numbers. It's a, like we're working as a collective here to help each other out. And I've been seeing such beautiful exchanges happening and support there. I am also going to be bringing in another assistant or sister healer into the Facebook group to help and assist. And she's been an IHTP graduate. She's a graduate of my training program. She's also a therapist, and she's a wonderful, wonderful person, and she's just here to help support you also in any additional things that might surface that are shared within the Facebook group. And I also wanted to say too, so I'll introduce her at the Facebook Live on Monday when I do that, which will be recorded and then sent on the, posted on the course homepage. So you'll meet Kimberly. And I also wanted to say that the questions, you know, due to the size of this class, I'm going to shift a little bit how we're working with the questions, in that I am reading the questions, and some of them, like I was saying in the beginning, are actually preemptive for the next course. Like, you know, it's as if your system is already presenting where we're going, which is wonderful. I'm taking a lot of questions and weaving them into the course curriculum. So just know that if it doesn't seem like I'm answering your question by name or directly, that I am weaving questions into the curriculum as it's unfolding. So it would be good to just listen to the, you know, sort of the deeper root of the question or of your question, and see if you're showing up in the material. I mean, that's how I'm working with it. I'm also, when I look at questions, I am looking at them from that deeper root perspective as it pertains to the course, because oftentimes the circumstance may be different, but a lot of people are asking the same question. And I want to make sure I'm looking at the root so that others can see their questions being answered in that deeper root. So just know that that's how I'm approaching answering questions when I do go through the document. And then lastly, I just wanted to add that just really in good faith, when there are personal issues that surface and the questions are coming in that are needing personal attention, I would recommend you can go visit my website to find a healer, because there might be some questions that need personal attention that I'm not able to really address here as much as I would love to. It sometimes is more than I can cover in a group format, but it's also important. It's coming up around your healing process. And so if you do need additional support, you are welcome to you know, either get outside support, or you can always go to my website and work with one of my healers as well. So that's what I wanted to leave you with, and also just blessings to you this week. And I look forward to connecting at the Q&A on Monday. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Wendy. What a wonderful class and healing this has been. And thank you everyone for being with us today. We look forward to you joining us next time. And from everyone here at the Shift Network, have a great week.